God, for what I'm about to say, please forgive me. This was supposed to be in the social hall, not in front of the Holy Ark. My husband and I had nothing in common but sex. He was a CPA and I was an artiste. So, well, you might ask, what did we talk about? Who talked? He couldn't keep his hands off me, and my hands were pretty busy, too. It wasn't his looks that attracted me. He definitely wasn't handsome in any conventional sense. Sadly, he had the signs of adolescent acne on his face, and he had kinehora, a substantial Jewish nose. Other parts of him were pretty substantial too. But I'm getting ahead. No, it wasn't his looks that made him so irresistible. It was that gleam in his eye, the good one, the one he winked at me with. That gleam, his personality, and his sense of humor got to me. Now, when I was young, nice Jewish girls didn't have sex until they were married. So we got married. After a very happy, very noisy, very Jewish wedding, we took a limo to our honeymoon hotel, the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, no less. I mean, how much more goyish could you get? We walk into the lobby, walk up to the desk, and my new proud husband signs the register. Saul J. Hirschberg. So I said, hey, what about me? He said, oh yeah. And with a flourish, adds, and wife. Then we go up to our honeymoon suite. I get undressed, I take a shower, I put on my beautiful white satin wedding night gown and get into bed. He puts on his pajamas after his shower, gets into bed next to me, turns off the light, and we promptly fall asleep. Would you call that an anticlimax? It wasn't till after we were married that I realized what a jewel I had gotten. He was not only sexy, he was very smart, very clever, and very funny. He used to say, Sarah, whither thou goest, I will whither. He was adorable. He was a great all-around guy. He really only had one shortcoming. He had no sense of direction. He could get lost backing out of the garage. And dead ends, he had an affinity for dead ends. He loved them. He called them the scenic route. I swear, if he'd been Moses, we'd all still be wandering in the desert. Because like Moses, he wouldn't stop to ask for directions. Well, we raised 3 children, doted on grandchildren, had 46 years together, by which time, of course, the sex had pretty much petered out. He got sick, lingered a while, kissed me goodbye and said, "Don't forget me," and went off to greener pastures where I know he's waiting for me. A few weeks later, I was so blue and lonely, I felt like I absolutely had to talk to him. So I dialed 1-800-HEAVEN. And this angelic operator answers and says, "May I help you?" And I said, "Yes, I'd like to speak to Sal Hirschberg, please." And she says, "One moment, please." She comes back after a while. She says, "I'm terribly sorry, but he's not answering his page." I said, "Well, operator, please try again. This time, try S.J. Hirschberg. He always answers to that." She goes off and she comes back and she says, "Is that S.J. as in Society of Jesus?" I said, "No. Even though he went to Loyola, he never changed his name. It's still Solomon Joseph. That S.J." Off she goes again. She comes back, weary, and apologetically says, "I'm terribly sorry. He doesn't seem to have ever checked in." I said, "Operator, that's impossible. He left weeks ago." "Oh, no," I said, "don't tell me. He found another dead end." So what does a widow do while her husband is somewhere in outer space looking for Route 66 to heaven? If she's anything like me, she runs away from home, which is exactly what I did. I ran away and joined the army, the Israeli army. I became a volunteer on an Israeli army base. I lived in army barracks. I slept on army cots. I even wore proudly an Israeli army uniform. I worked with the soldiers. I ate with them. I even kibitzed with them. But you can't run away forever. So after 2 months in Israel, I came home to my empty house. One by one, I picked up the pieces of my shattered life and tried to make a new life for myself. I went through all the motions. I got up in the morning, brushed my teeth, showered, got dressed, combed my hair, put on makeup, put a smile on my face to hide the loneliness in my heart. Finally, I picked up my silent, grieving guitar. And this about says it all. You're looking fine, say friends of mine. I feel a little guilty, but then I smile and say, I guess my broken heart becomes me. You've lost some weight, you're looking great, they say, and I feel funny. But then I smile and say, I guess my broken heart becomes me. Down through the years, we shared our tears. It wasn't always clover, but through it all, we had a ball, a until the ball was over. You're looking swell. You're aging well, they say, and it sounds clumsy, but then I smile and say, I guess my broken heart becomes me. I say, although I grieve, I do believe our parting's temporary, and that is why I can reply, my broken heart becomes me. And so when friends pay me compliments, I hope it's not unseemly for me to smile and say, I guess my broken heart becomes me. I say, although I grieve, I do believe our parting's temporary, and that is why I can reply, my broken heart becomes me. My broken, broken heart. Yet kata, biyat katash, shmei.